Hello people. I'm sorry for the lack of content. I know I've been like completely absent for 1 week or so at the very least. I'm sorry. I'm just extremely busy these days. I have a lot of projects that are coming to a term. I had my circus show last week. Today it's just another fest where I will do my own show, with the juggling with fire and all of that. This is today, so even right now I do not have much time. But I wanted to give you some news, and I will probably just right now do live the much asked for itemization guide, and you can expect some gameplay. I hope tomorrow or the day after. Like today should be the last day where I am so busy. I should be quite free next week. So yeah, let's begin. Let's not wait any more time because you are here for a reason, and I understand that. Okay, how to build? What items to make to become rank masterball? I will not say rank 1 because I myself was at best up 2. At best, I never bet crab hammer in terms of number of points. I just do not play enough. But I know what I'm doing when I'm doing it. So here, in the wiki then items, you have all of the existing items in this game. And you should be using this section if you do not know that yet. If you are not used to the items, you can come here and study them. So, in Pokemon Auto Chess, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 components. 9 different components, and 2 of these components together actually form a full item when combined. And you have all of these items. So the entirety of the items that exist are actually 1/2 of this square right here. And to read this sort of chart, you have to look at one component here and then one component here, and then you know that this seed on this column combined with this magnet on this column actually make the Gradia. Okay? So these components are to be separated in different categories. We have the mage components. Mostly they are mystic water that gives you mana, and twisted spoon that gives you AP. Those are what I would call the AP mage components. You will do magic damage with your abilities if you build around this sort of components. This one will actually help you generate mana and actually boost your units that are using their mana a lot. This one will actually give you damage and boost your unit that actually need to have some damage output on their abilities. Then you have the 80 physical components. There are 3 of them. Charcoal gives you attack damage. Magnet gives you attack speed. So with this one, each attack that deals more damage. With this one, you attack more times. And here the black glasses give you critical strikes. So when you critical strikes, your attacks actually do double damage. And finally, you have the defensive components. Miracle Seed here gives you shield. Unlike TFT, you do not build more HP on your units. The base HP of your units will practically never move outside of monsters. Instead, you will build them a starting shield, right? This does not count as max HP. It's bonus HP, and once they are gone, they are gone. Okay? Very typical of this game to do this. You cannot boost your number of HP. So you cannot boost your percentage health regen with miracle seeds, for example. Right? If you need to build more HP instead of a shield, certain units can do this, and most of them just can't. And then you have magic resistance with never melt ice, actually reduce the magic damage, so damage from abilities that you receive. In this game, every ability deals magic damage outside for a very few number of them. If you take damage from an ability, it is mostly magic damage. Like, I think one exception is Mewtwo, that actually deals physical damage, and some of them deals true damage that you can't mitigate. But most of them just deal magic damage. So this component will help you resist abilities. Most of them. Right here you have Hurt Scale, gives you defense, reduces physical damage. So mostly damage that comes from auto attacks. Okay? This is the identity of these components. And then you have the Fossil Stone. Fossil Stone combined with anything gives you a stone that actually gives your unit a few stats and most of all a synergy. So if you make an Ice Stone, your unit becomes Ice type, which can then activate one more level of the Ice synergy. You also receive some statistics besides it, but if you look at this Ice Stone, it gives +2 magical defense. This purple shield right here that you can see, +2 special defense, and that's actually just the stats from the Nevermelt Ice. If you look at this Thunderstone, 10% attack speed, that's just the stat from the Magnet. Duskstone, 10% crit damage, that's the Black Glasses, and it goes on and on. Right? So, what to build then? Everything depends on your compositions. I will talk about all these items later, by the way. Let's keep it simple for now. So what do we want to build? It depends on your compositions. So, there is a concept that you must understand. If you build the same stat over and over, then the stats will just add up and up. So if I build an item that gives me AD, and then I make another item that makes me more AD, I will actually add up AD over AD, which gives me, of course, more AD, so more damage per auto attack. And this actually increases your damage, of course, but you can do better than this. You know, that's just math. In math, what can rise up a lot faster than addition? It's multiplication. If I do 3 plus 3 AD, let's not say AD, I add 3 plus 3 damage, I get 6 damage. Now, if I get 3 times 3 damage, what do I get? 9 damage. So we have to find a solution to make so that our stats do not add up on each other, but multiply each other. And the way you do this is actually by combining different statistics together. Just basic math. If you add AD over AD, they add up. However, if you combine AD with attack speed, they multiply. These are just mathematical formulas. I do not need you to be good at math to understand. Just learn that if you combine different stats together, some of them will actually multiply with each other and make you a lot stronger combination. Which also means that let's say you play a synergy like, we'll say Wild, that gives you a lot of attack damage. You have a lot of attack stat, which means if you make an AD item like Red Orb, you will actually add your item to your synergy. However, if you make attack speed with X-rays, you will multiply your item with your synergy, making for a lot stronger combination. This is very basic. So, the stats that combine together are mostly attack speed with AD, any kind of resistance with HP and shield, mana generation with magic damage. These are the three combinations that you must know. If you have a lot of magic damage, then it will multiply with mana generation. If you have a lot of HP, it will multiply with resistances. If you have a lot of resistances, it will multiply with your HP. If you have a lot of attack speed, it will multiply with your AD. Alright? Always be thinking about this aspect whenever you are creating an item. Think about what stats will actually combine well with the item you are currently making. There is one exception to this rule, however. I completely avoided critical strikes. Critical strikes actually is the only stat that you better add up than multiply it with anything. Adding up critical strikes over critical strikes is actually a very decent option. It's just as strong as multiplying it with attack speed or AD, if not stronger. Unless you already reached 100% crit chance. Otherwise, as long as you do not reach the 100% crit chance, you can add up crit over crit over crit without thinking too much about it. And that's a strong aspect of critical strikes, by the way, because it makes things a lot easier to remember. Alright? So this is, let's be honest, mostly for dark, right? And if anything, critical strike chance as a statistic multiplies with critical strike damage. Critical strike damage, you can get that from only two things. The Razor Fang right here, that is the main component of any crit build, and the Dark Synergy. Dark Synergy, if you go over here, actually gives you critical power. It's not critical damage, it's critical power. So this stat multiplies with the critical chance. Which is why Dark is so strong, by the way. And why, when you already have a lot of critical strike chance, you want to be building specifically this item that is the only one to give you this stat. We went over the basics. Now let's get to the specifics. I would like to start with this diagonal over here. This diagonal actually is the items that are made of two of the same component. So double magnet, double seed, etc, etc. And the reason why I will start with this diagonal is because I think, personally, that most of these items on this diagonal are the strongest items in the game. Every single one of them, except for King's Rock in the current meta, is exceptionally strong. All of those I would build pretty much blindly and put them into anything. And let's see why. Choice specs gives you 100% bonus ability power. What does this mean? You take your ability damage, you double it. As simple as that. Extremely powerful. Lots of burst damage. If you get this item alone, you do not need any more magical damage into your build. You can go full on mana generation. Only need this one, which is what makes it extra strong. Then you have X-ray vision, plus 50% attack speed. From the beginning of the fight. This is enough attack speed on any unit, you do not need more. Same as this one, by the way. It is a standalone attack speed item, then you can go full on AD. Wonderbox we'll talk about later. Red Orb. 25% of damage is dealt as true damage plus 10 AD. So that's basically 3.5 charcoals. Extremely good. That's a ton of damage. If you can combine Red Orb plus X-ray vision, this is enough damage for any AD carry in the game. AD carry is a unit that will deal most of its damage from its basic attacks. You combine Red Orb and X-ray visions, you're good to go. Extremely good. Assault Vest plus 20 magic resist and reduce burst and poison damage. You will mostly take 0 damage from abilities with this one. As simple as that. Rocky Helmet plus 12 defense, anti-critical strike. You will still take damage from auto attacks. A lot less, but you will still take them. It is a lot less than 20 with the Assault Vest. But you completely nullify critical strikes. So in a meta when Dark is everywhere, super good item. Super good item. Just spam it blindly. Aqua Egg. 50 starting mana. That's extremely good on any unit that want to cast one spell as soon as possible, because it has so much damage. And then 20 PP after each usage, which means that on units that actually need very little mana to cast, you can generate a ton of mana from this item. So Aqua Egg actually good on any unit that wants to cast once as fast as possible to deal a lot of burst, and on any unit that actually wants to spam its ability. You know what this means? It means it's good on every single unit in the game. There is not a single unit in the game that does not want an Aqua Egg. Not a single one. Every single unit in the game can make use of this item. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful when you think about it? So this is the Diagonal of Glory. Diagonal of Glory, I must say. Extremely good options over here. And let's talk about the two last components. King's Rocks, 150 shield, that's a lot of health. The thing with this item is there is a status in this game that is called Flinch. Flinch completely and 100% bypasses shield. If I would need to give my opinions, that's completely broken. There is no in-between as with a lot of things in this game, and because of this status only, and because it is so popular and so present right now, with the Ghost 2 synergy, the monster synergy that people are playing a lot, shield has very little value currently. So, because of the current meta and the existence of Flinch, and the fact that Flinch is so widespread, this item, absolute garbage, does nothing for you. Avoid it at all cost. I'm sorry to say this is just piece of trash right now. And even if you boost it and gives plus 300 shield, same bullshit, you will not solve the problem. The only way to make this good would be to bypass Flinch with the King's Rock, but then it would become King's Rock OP against anything that flinches, so better not do that. I would actually love if King's Rock gave max HP, but that's personal opinion. As long as it remains shield, absolute garbage. Wonderbox then gives you 2 random items. If you've played TFT, you know of the double gauntlet, right? Thieves' Gloves. This Wonderbox is actually even stronger than this, because at the beginning of the fight, the Wonderbox will disappear out of your inventory, and you will be given 2 new items instead for this round. What does this mean? It means that you can actually have a 3rd item. You can actually have Wonderbox plus 1 item, and that's 3 full items. Because all these items are somewhat good, most of the time you will get a combination that works. Wonderbox, since I play this game, has one of the highest win rate of any item. It is, right now, we can say it, the strongest item in this game. And it's even more true if you are not at ease with your items. If you do not know what to build really well, make a Wonderbox. It works on any unit, anytime, in any situation. This is why I think Black Glasses is one of the strongest components, if not the strongest component in the entire game. Because with 2 of them, you can make the miraculous item that makes you win every game. Wonderbox, as wonderful as the name suggests. Okay. That is the miraculous diagonal of all winds. Now let's talk about the rest. I will avoid, to be honest, will completely avoid the stones. The stones are just for specific synergies. This is not really about items, you know. Just know that you have a lot less fossil stones right now that you used to have them before. So if you need a fossil stone, you can just go for your fossil stone on any given occasion, because you will not get many random fossil stone anymore. Before I would have gone against looking for fossil stones, because if you get then random fossil stones, then you have too many of them. Right now you can pick them whenever, so not really interesting to talk about this fossil stone. If you need one because you need a stone, go for it as early as you can in any carousel. That's the tip I will give you for this whole row right here. We'll start with the critical strike row because this is a very specific one. So let's start with this one. These items, you want to add them up over each other. And to be fair, the main combination right here would be Razor Claw plus Razor Fang. This one gives you 50% crit chance. This is the item that gives you the most crit chance in the game. And then you have Razor Fang that gives you 100% crit damage and 10% crit chance. So with these two items alone, you have 60% crit chance that do triple the damage that they should be doing. No, even more, they do quadruple the damage. Because it's 100% crit power, so crit power is doubled, and then crit power doubles your damage. So it's times 4. If I understand this well, it is times 4. And it adds up armor reduction for 4 seconds on every auto attack with the Razor Fang. On crits, I mean. But with these two items, you have like 60% crit chance. So this pretty much always apply, right? At least after the third auto attack, it should mostly have applied at least once. Which makes this item as a standalone extremely useless, because you do a lot with your crits, but you do no crits. But when you can combine these two, then it becomes extremely good. Always go Razor Claw first, Razor Fang second, because this item without critical strike chance is garbage, and this item without critical damage is actually decent. So first Razor Claw, second Razor Fang. So whenever you have 2 black glasses and want to play around crits, first go for a charcoal and second go for a magnet. Charcoal is your priority over the magnet. And if you do not get any of them, just make a wonder box. The exception to that is Dark. Dark has enough critical strike chance, so you do not want to make a Razor Claw. With Dark, and only with Dark, you want the Razor Fang first. Only with Dark. With any other AD synergy, if you want to play crits, it's Razor Claw first, Razor Fang second. That's 60% crit chance. You can actually go beyond that with a third critical strike item. Main option will be your scope lens. The reason why that is because it is plus 25 crit chance, so you actually reach 85%. Almost 100%, and every crit also gives you more PP, so scope lens actually multiplies with critical strike chance. So with a crit build, you combine these 3 items, and okay, yes, your abilities will not do critical damage because you do not have the Reaper Cloth. However, on an AD carry, this is not too much of a problem. On an AP carry then, that you want to have crits with, Scope Lens plus Razor Claw go for 75% critical damage, and then you go Reaper Cloth, that's 85% critical strike chance, and your ability cast will actually be able to crit. So you do not have the armor reduction. Fair enough. Your abilities do double the damage. Just like this. Double the damage. And if you go for, instead of scope lens, let's say you go Razor Claw plus Razor Fang plus Reaper Cloth, from my understanding, actually this gives you only 70% crit chance instead of 85, but your ability cast deals quadruple the damage. Critical strike plus 100% critical damage. To me, this makes doubles becomes quadruples. To me. If the dev corrects me in the comments, please devs, correct me in the comments if it's only triple. But to be honest, be it quadruple or triple, it one-shots anything pretty much anyway, right? It doesn't make us any diff. It one-shots. Be it 4 times or 3 times, it's enough. 4 times is overkill anyway. So it doesn't even matter if I make a mistake here, right? Doesn't even matter. I would add something. Look at this. Armor reduction. What do you think about this name? You would think it increases your critical, your physical damage, right? Let's look at the status. Let's look at the status, guys and girls and everyone. Where is it? It is around here somewhere. Armor reduction. Holy crap. It also reduces special defense. Armor reduction in this game reduces both kind of damage. What does this mean, guys? It means that with this item combination, not only do you double your damage with your critical strike spells, but you also double it further because you reduce the magic resist. Ain't that wonderful? Ain't that completely, absolutely broken one-shot on every single unit that you hit? Yes, it is. Absolutely, completely broken one-shot on any unit that you hit. I have no further things to say. To me, this combination of item, these 3 right here, on a unit that actually hits the entire board, let's say you play Guard of War, you just one-shot entire boards. You see the board, then you do not see it, it's gone. Forever. It's dead. Do you need a Pokemon Econ on Shamin? Why would you? Shamin has one-shot the entire board. What do you mean? Actually, maybe Shamin doesn't deal enough damage, but oh-ho! Oh-ho one-shots the entire board with this combination. Anything dies. Straight up. Not even need to think about it. All is dead. Then you have these 2 items that are very specific. Crit is actually the only component that gives you anti-CC on this game. So these 2 items reduces the CC that you take. This one completely obliterates it for the entire duration of a fight. So as a 3rd item on a carry, best option in the game. Your stuff for a carry, remember, should be ideally on any AD carry around here. Red Orb plus X-Ray Vision plus Fluffy Tail. Best combination ever on an AD carry. Which means that you will need 2 charcoals, 2 attack speed, 1 crit, 1 armor, and this makes you for an ADC. This is more niche. This is more niche, but if you have an opponent that actually plays like fairies, for example, it can be useful to have this on your front line. But again, a lot more niche. I would rather put Fluffy Tail on my carry. Finally, you have the Wide Lens. Wide Lens, you must know that it exists because it gives +2 range on a unit. So on any unit that is melee, has melee stats and you would benefit from being ranged, first one that comes to mind would be, let's go here. So Pokemons, it's an epic. Would be, in my opinion, where is it? Where are you? Garchomp. Where is Garchomp? Is here. This guy right here, I would love to give him range. Another one would be monsters mainly, by the way. This one because it's a monster. The other one, It's a rare. It will be Rhyhorn. Where is Rhyhorn? Rhyhorn. Where are you? It's here. This guy right here. And you could say Titar, right? The monsters. Mostly the monsters, I would say. Mostly the monsters. Any unit that already has range, you do not need this. But a monster will benefit a lot from range. That covers the crits. Play these items together. They make great combination. I've covered them. Do not hesitate to replay this part because it's it's really complex. This whole video you should be watching several times, by the way. I understand that completely. We'll talk about defensive items now. These two are probably your best options when you do not know what to do, but there is a lot of very specific items that are better in certain situations. So you will need to adapt when making defensive items in this game. Okay? So, let's begin with the garbage. Where is the garbage? Okay, here. Choice Scarf. Combine an Evermelt Ice and a Magnet and you will make this trash. It's useless. It should be a defensive item. It is actually an offensive item that gives you 50% bonus damage on your auto attacks, but it is spread onto 2 units. It does not proc on hit effects. I repeat, it does not proc on hit effects. It is uber garbage. This item you should never go for it. Until it's reworked, avoid this shit. Okay? Avoid this shit. I cannot say otherwise. It is just pure trash. Sorry devs, that's just the reality. Reality right here. Of course the rest is better, but holy crap, Choice Scarf. You have the Power Lens. Power Lens gives you +5 special defense. That's a lot of special defense, by the way. That's really a lot. So that's a pretty nice boost. And then 50% of incoming special damage is also dealt to the attacker. So this is a counter to any AP carry that looks to one-shot you with a lot more damage than what it needs. You can also one-shot it. Right? Like, let's say Mewtwo, no, actually not Mewtwo because it's not special damage. But let's say Blacephalon wants to do you 200% max HP with a lot of crits and ability power. 200% of your max HP with magic damage. And it actually hits you with that. Then he's dead. He's fucking dead. He takes the same. GG's. So extremely strong. And the one composition that is actually obliterated by Power Lens is Fairies. Fairies, if I go over here, they do every time they deal or receive a critical strike, but this will probably be reworked. On this current patch, deal special damage on every occasion. So you can actually get the damage back to their face. And because you will be a lot tankier than them, then they will maybe even die before they can kill you. But this is probably reworked next patch, so do not think about it too much. Let's say it's a counter to many Psychic comps or anything that deals special damage. You look at the recap of the damage. If you take a lot of special damage on a very specific unit, give it a Power Lens. It's a really good item. Underestimated, this one, I would say. We've talked about Wild Lens. It's a trap. It is not a defensive item. It's an offensive item. Shiny Charm gives you protect for 2 seconds once you become low life. This is a standalone. If you build this item, you do not give any other defensive item to the unit that you give that to. You can give it to a carry with 2 other offensive items, like you could build a Shiny Charm instead of a Fluffy Tail on a carry if there is not many CCs in the game. But the Shiny Charm is actually a standalone defensive item. You do not want to combine this with any other defensive item. You want to combine it with AD physical damage. Because while you are protected, you still do auto attacks, which means that you can do physical damage, but you do not generate mana or regen your HP, which means that it combines poorly with defensives, and it combines poorly with spell damage, because you will not be preparing a spell. Alright? So this only helps AD carries or any unit that you do not invest a lot of stuff on, but that just needs to survive a little bit more to be annoying and take the focus. So standalone item that can also go on a carry. Very specific, this one. Pokédoll, combination of two of both resistances, reduce all incoming damage, physical and spatial, by 30%. Good on any defensive unit. It is a must-have. I would say Pokédoll is a must-have. Any unit will benefit from. You can spam it blind. It is always good. Never a bad option. Okay? If you do not get two of the same, and the lobby is pretty much split between magic damage and physical damage, there are a lot of AD and a lot of AP comps. The in-between is Pokédoll. In the current meta, there is so much AD. Rocky Helmet is the best. In a magic meta, Assault Vest is the best. In a mixed meta, Pokédoll is the perfect in-between. Okay? And you can combat Pokédoll with one of these two. It actually does a decent combination, but the best combination you can do is one of these three with Green Orb. Green Orb gives you, the holder, and every adjacent allies 5% of their max HP every second. This is the only way in the entire game to technically increase your max HP. Because regen, when you think about it, if you do not take too many damage, is more max HP. You only need time for regen. So Green Orb combined with Pokédoll, excellent combination. But combined with Rocky Helmet in physical lobbies or Assault Vest in magical lobbies, extremely good too. So this right here, or this right here, is actually your stuff for a defensive unit. And if Flinch goes out of the meta or gets nerfed, then you have these two plus King's Rock. But in the current meta, I wouldn't trust King's Rock. Okay? If you play Green Orb, actually your worst counter would be, let's go into the status here, Burn, that reduces healing by 50%, or, where is it? Wound, that reduces healing by 100%. How broken is that? So what you can do is actually go for regen plus Pokédoll plus Fluffy Tail. And then the opponent cannot anti-heal you anymore. The opponent cannot anti-heal you with a Fluffy Tail, which means that the opponent cannot counter Green Orb anymore. So Green Orb plus one of these plus Fluffy Tail is extremely good in a lobby where there is a lot of fire or where there is a lot of CC or wounds, right? So always think about the Fluffy Tail in defensive builds too. It is not only a carry item. In grass you can think about the Fluffy Tail for the same reason. Whenever fire is strong. Okay, and then you have this one, Amulet Coin. +1 Pokecoin every single time you knock out an opponent. If you can get this in the first few rounds, it actually works on PvE stages too. So you can have your Econ rise extremely fast with this item. It is super strong if you know what you are doing with your Econ. Super strong. It's not my style, I play my Econ otherwise, and in the late game, the very late game, you will lack stats if you didn't play your Econ well enough. However, if you get it very early, you can build it, give it to your carry, and just max your Econ early on. And you can really accelerate your game a ton with this item. It is not an easy item to play for. I would advise you use it when you are a little better at the game. Do not use this to compensate for your lack of understanding of economy. Play this to boost your economy further once you know how to play it well. Okay? This is not to patch for your weakness. This is to boost your knowledge and to boost your strength. I really want you to understand this. Do not patch your weaknesses with Amulet coin. That would be the worst thing to do in my opinion. Okay, on the armor side, we've discussed a lot of them, but there is a few more. Muscle Band is one of the strongest armor options in the game. Gives you a ton of stats when you look at this. This is an armor carry oriented item, but even a tank can benefit from this one. So I would actually give this to any monster unit. Literally any monster unit can wear this one, and it will go super strong. Any melee carry that will have attack speed built in, you can build a muscle band for this guy, and it will actually help him a lot. Super good item. So I would do some combinations like, let's say, X-rays plus muscle band plus green orb on monsters, and that should do them a lot of good, because they will gain more max HP, not die too fast because muscle band, and their green orb goes crazy. And this is stacked super fast because of attack speed, because remember that your monsters are actually carries. So this is a really good monster combination of items, in my opinion. You can also not build the muscle band. You can also not build the X-ray and actually go with the Gradia, but we'll go over this one later. Okay? And then you can make a third item if you need magic resist, for example, build an Assault Vest. That's for later. Lucky Egg. 40% ability power in AOE for your holder and its two neighbors. I do not like it too much, but I got to admit, it doesn't work too bad. Doesn't work too bad. There are 3 items that actually activate for you and your two neighbors. These are Lucky Egg, Gradia, and the Clean Stack. You can actually combine the 3 of them on one unit and boost the two neighbors. And then the two neighbors will wear all of your items, and so they will not only get the benefits from their 3 items, they will get the benefits for 6 items. Their 3 plus these 3. And that is actually extremely strong. Okay? This can technically also count as an AOE item. And where is the other? It is... Where is it? There is another, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it's been removed from the game. Never mind. It's been removed from the game. Never mind. Okay, so these items actually super good together. The problem with this item is that they force you to position in a very specific way and to have your units close to each other, so they will be weak to AoE damage. But to be fair, considering the boost that it can give you, it is a risk that sometimes is worth taking, I would say. Okay, so do not hesitate to combine these 3 together. And then my little... Okay, no, let's go start with Smoke Ball. We'll go with my favorite later. Smoke Ball, main up with armor, and when you get below 33% max HP, you actually dash away and leave a smoke that paralyzes the opponents inside it. So let's look at what paralyzes do. Because this is this is not a very well understanding status. Attack speed and move speed reduced by 40% prevents dodging. What does this mean? Against water, water unit cannot dodge attacks anymore. Against flying units, flyers cannot fly away anymore. So this is a counter to water and a counter to flying. So if you see, it is also somewhat a counter to dark, but a lot less. So if you see flying comps and water comps and you have difficulties with them, smoke ball actually is a key counter to these kind of comps. So this is a counter item. Counter item, right? Because the attack speed reduction will proc on the front line. So it is not really useful for weakening carries unless you play this in dark and you dash towards their carries. But to make so that the front line cannot really dash and regen or cannot really dodge your attacks, then it's extremely good. And if you play against monsters that actually play melee carries, this is also a decent counter to that. Finally, Flame Orb doubles your attack. So to be clear, this procs before the fight starts. It doesn't actualize during the fight, which means that what is actually doubled, if I go for this man right here, this guy has 22 base attack, he will have 44. And that's the only thing that is boosted. Nothing else is. Nothing else is. So if you play fire and every auto attack gives you +3, it will not give you +6. It will still give you +3. Okay? Do not misunderstand. If you build Flame Orb with a red orb and you see +10 AD on the red orb, you will not get +20. You will still get +10. It does not boost other AD items. However, what will be boosted is the +25% of attack is dealt as true damage, because this gives a lot of attack, and this lot of attack will be boosted. But not the +10 AD, okay? It is before the fight starts. It is only the base AD of the unit that is taken into consideration. What's interesting with this item? This is actually a way to combine two defensive components, Herd Scale and Miracle Seed, into an offensive component. You can make damage with tanky. If you do not need to be tanky but you get tanky components, combine them into an offensive component. Make a Flame Orb. This is how you do it. Be careful though, because you are burned, which means that you are actually slowly dying. So, because you are slowly dying, you can do two things. Either build some form of regen. Let's say this thing right here that I didn't talk about, or this thing. But this regen, keep in mind that it will be halved because you are burned. And burn actually halves the damage reduction. The healing. Burn actually halves the healing. The other solution is to make a fluffy tail. Then you are not burned. But even if you are not burned, you keep the stats. You just keep the fucking stats. What does this mean? This means that this combination is actually stronger than Red Orb plus Fluffy Tail on units that have a lot of AD. Which one are they? Let's look here at the Pokemons. If I go into the rare category, which is most of your carries, let's look at typically what is an AD carry that we like over here. Let's see. Let's take this family here. And let's see Lombre. Lombre has 12 attack. Red Orb gives him 10%, gives him 10 AD, so 22, plus 25% damage as true damage. So 22 plus 25% is around 28. And a part of this is actually true. While if you only give it a Flame Orb, it's 24. It is weaker. If you evolve it, 22 AD plus 10, that's 32. Plus 25% of 32. You go around something like 39, but part of it is true damage. Fair enough. Because some of it is true damage, is probably a little bit stronger than 44 attack. Let's go then for Darkrai. 3080. So with a red orb, that is 10. So 40 plus 25%, 50, and some of it is true. Flame orb, it's 6080. If your opponents do not have many armor, this is stronger. Let's go further. Where is it? Here, Katana. 4080. You can understand that the more AD you have, the more Flame Orb is better compared with Red Orb, right? So on these legendaries like Darkrai, Katana, Shamin, not this one, only 22, not this one, but Landorus, consider the Flame Orb. Consider the Flame Orb. It will be really, really strong. Do not forget to combine it with Fluffy Tail though. Okay? That covers the no, I didn't cover the Miracle Seed. But most of it I already covered. So let's go around some of the items that are left. The main option here, Stardust. After each cast, you gain 60% of max PP as shield. Remember what I said, shield is a pretty trash option right now. So outside of sound, when you need to build Chime Show, fucking Stardust is bad item. I would not go for Stardust because shield is so weak. So forget this one. Right now, forget this one. If Flinch is nerfed, remember that one of the units that was always broken with it is, where is he? Here, Lotad. Lotad with this item actually goes crazy. Outside of this, forget about the Stardust. Soothspell. Actually a recent item. 25% of your damage is dealt is as shield to the ally closest to the target. So we actually give shield to your front line through your carry. Why not? But as I said, shield is fucking bad. I do not believe in this item. Outside of very specific situation, I would rather go for something else, because I do not believe in shield. Sorry, devs. That's just my opinion. So decent, probably decent into most comps, but into anything that flinch, this item will be useless. And will actually lower your damage because you will lack another option. Maybe with synergies that actually have a lot of built-in stats, but otherwise, not too much. And then you have these two. These two are both among my favorites. So Gradia Flowers gives you AOE attack speed. So you actually can build several carries around the Gradia Flower and give them a lot of AD. And then the attack speed part will be compensated with the Gradia. A very good option. Very good option actually. It's not too much attack speed though. So maybe consider still building it X-rays nonetheless, but into composition that already have some form of attack speed built in. And I would mostly think about sound and elec. Then Gradia is sufficient, and you can go for both Red Orb and Flame Orb to transform some of the Flame Orb damage into true damage. And that can go pretty crazy. That can go pretty crazy. I forgot to talk about Max Revive. So what do we think about Max Revive? Nah. On monsters. On monsters, this is actually good. Off monsters, not too much. Maybe on fossils. On monsters and fossils. This is a monster and fossils item. So if you play monster and fossil, consider Max Revive. It is not too bad. Or other than this, I would not play max revive. That would not be one of my priorities. Definitely not. This is technically more HP, you know, so combine it with defensive stats. That would be my advice if you ever play this. But since when you die you actually drop the focus, it has not much purpose on a tank. Because once the tank loses the focus, it is useless. Your carry will be dead before it takes the focus again. So do not prioritize this one. So lastly, Pokemon Omicron gives burn and wound to any unit that takes damage from your ability. Special damage. So, what does this mean? This is an item for specific units that deal AOE damage. What are these? For example, I think the best user of this in the entire game is Shaman. Spell hits the entire board. So everyone gets burned. Extremely good. But you can give this to Moltres or Articuno, they do the same. In the Hatch category, you have Gothitelle. It's the entire board. In the rare category, you have, where is it? You have Loudred. It's the entire board. The unit needs to be doing at least 1 damage. Okay? But Loudred does. In the unique category, what do you have that I can think about? Where is it? You have... Where is Shimeshow? Here. Shimeshow and Chatot. Both of them. Okay? In the epic category, does not need the actual entire board. But you have... Roselia. It's a lot of units. And you also have... Where is it? Gardevoir. Where are you, Gardevoir? I don't know where Gardevoir is, but he also does the same thing. It's a lot of units. So, on these typical units that hit a lot of things but with little damage, Pokemon Omicron is an extremely good way to boost your damage. Okay? Extremely good item. Counters counters grass composition. It is a nightmare for grass to play against Nomicon. Absolute nightmare. Okay, let's keep going. This video is already going to be extremely long. So this on specific casters that deal AoE damage, you do not really need to combine it with anything else. This can be a standalone. This can be an actual standalone. AP items. So this one, always good. This one, always bad. I will not add anything. This is one of the lowest win rate in the game. Do not build Suldu ever. I repeat. Teaching is repeating. Do not build Suldu ever. Another time? With me. Repeat with me. Do not build Suldu ever. Okay? Next. Upgrade. Upgrade. Each and every attack gives you bonus attack speed. So let's look at X-ray vision. Plus 50% attack speed. Let's see upgrade. Plus 4% attack speed per auto attack. So how many attacks do you need to have plus 50%? That's 13. Yes. Yes, you understand it, right? Do not build upgrade ever. Repeat with me. Do not build upgrade ever. Together, one last time. Do not build upgrade ever. The only comp that will actually work with upgrade would be a comp that is super tanky and survives extremely long. Maybe normal and maybe grass. Outside of these two, X-rays. Because once you reach 52% after the 13th attack, yes, you will have more attack speed than with X-rays. But how much damage did you actually miss? How many more attacks will you need to make for this damage that you missed? So the threshold of damage is not 13 attacks actually, it will be around 20. Most of the rounds will be done by then. You'll be dead. So even in tanky comps, X-ray is just fucking straight up better. Fucking straight up better. Okay. There is one last in this row that we didn't cover yet. Shell Bell. 33% of all damage, be it physical or magic, is actually becoming heal. Not a bad item on a physical carry. Any melee carry will use the Shell Bell pretty well. So another monster item. Maybe a fighting item. This, by the way, is also a good fighting item. Monster item, fighting item, I would say. Mostly. Other synergies use it a lot less good. So this is why you do not see Shell Bell too much. It is a very specific item. Mana. So garbage, we've covered that. What remains that we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about Blue Orb. Every third attack from the holder unleashes a chain of lightning that bounces to two enemies burning 20 PP. Stats says this doesn't work. According to stat, this item loses. So another round. Are you okay? Outside of Elec, I will admit that Elec uses this pretty well. Outside of Elec, do not build Blue Orb ever! Okay? One other with me. Do not build Blue Orb ever! Repeat after me. Do not build Blue Orb ever! And there is a last thing that you can do with Blue Orb, and I cannot tell you. Go check for it by yourselves. If you do not solve the mystery, then I cannot tell you. Sorry. Okay. Remains a few attack speed and charcoal items that we didn't cover. Which one would it be? I mean, yeah, it only remains the Fire Gem. Fire Gem gives you both attack speed and AD, so pretty decent. They combine well together. Double the damage on shield and 8% of target's max HP is additional damage. Very good against tanks. Very, very good against tanks. I splash it most of the time. If I cannot make anti-CC and I need a third item to go with my X-ray and my red orb, if I cannot make anti-CC most of the time, my third item is a Fire Gem. Okay? It is not a bad item. It can pretty decently replace the red orb against most tanky composition. And it is actually a late game good options, because in the early game units do not have a lot of defensive stats, you know. But as you evolve your units, then they gain more and more HP, and then Fire Gem actually becomes very decent. And against super tanky units, like the legendaries with 300 HP, or the monsters when they grow, Fire Gem is actually a lot stronger than Red Orb. But this is in the late game. Early game, Red Orb is better. Overall, Red Orb is probably the better option. But in specific situation, if you cannot make a Red Orb, or if you can have both, do not hesitate to do both. Red Orb, I think, is superior to Fire Gem, but not by too much, you know. So you can build this instead of this, or this besides this. They do well together. They do well instead of one other if you swap them. Does not matter too much. Okay, let's recap the combination. Teaching is repeating. Did I forget the Mana Scarf? I forgot the Mana Scarf. Each attack gives you more PP. So to give on anything that wants to cast, and you actually combine this with X-rays. Okay? this actually multiplies, and I mean multiplies with attack speed. So you can actually combine this into any attack speed build for a caster. Very specific one, I would say. Very specific. Usually you want to combine mana with AP. This one very specifically you want to combine with attack speed. Okay? So Aqua Egg is a better option if you have a lot of AP item. Main Scarf is a better option if you already have an attack speed item that you do not know what to do with. So combinations. You have the 2 crits build. Razor Fang plus Razor Claw plus Scope Lens on physical carries. Razor Fang plus Scope Lens plus Reaper Cloth on AP carries. 2 main crit builds. AD carry builds. You have X-Ray plus Red Orb plus Fluffy Tail. Or you have X-Rays plus Red Orb, and you cannot make a Fluffy Tail, so you make a Fire Gem. Or you cannot make a Red Orb, so you have X-Rays plus Fire Gem plus Fluffy Tail. Okay? On units that have a lot of AD, late game, X-Rays plus Flame Orb plus Fluffy Tail, and Flame Orb replaces Red Orb. That is your main path. Then you have the monster stuff to make your monster ranged. Red Orb plus X-Ray Vision plus Wide Lens. Okay? You cannot make Flame Orb because there is no space for Fluffy Tail. Otherwise you do not have attack speed. Then for your melee monsters, Max Revive plus Green Orb plus Fluffy Tail, or Green Orb plus Max Revive plus, where is it? Plus Muscle Band, or Muscle Band plus Green Orb plus Fluffy Tail. You understand the idea, it is a combination of these 4. Okay? Then, for your tanks, Assault Vest plus Pokédoll plus Green Orb, or Pokédoll plus Green Orb plus Fluffy Tail for more regen, or Green Orb plus Rocky Helmet plus Fluffy Tail into AD lobbies, or Green Orb plus Assault Vest plus Fluffy Tail into Magic lobbies, or Green Orb plus Pokédoll. You understand, depends on the lobby, right? These 2 go well together if you can do them, because then you cannot take anti-heal. But if you cannot afford the Fluffy Tail, then Pokédoll plus Green Orb plus Assault Vest. Okay? Splashable. In very specific situation, when you play against a good flying comp, Smoke Ball. Okay? Do not forget this item exists. It can save you, big time. Into a lot of magic damage, Power Lens. Do not forget this item exists. It can save you big time too. Just these 2 are counter items, not to be splashed without thinking. Okay? Look at which one composition is the strongest in the lobby and adapt. These are items you need to know exist, but you do not build them every time, sorry. AP stuff. Aqua Egg plus Choice Specs plus anything. These 2 together, they enough. So you can add a Pokémonomicon, but to be fair, the unit will die anyway, so burning them, useless. Completely fucking useless. So yeah, Aqua Egg plus Choice Specs plus what can you build? You can build Mana Scarf to cast faster. You can build Stardust to gain some shield. You can build Spell Crit to have 10% chance to one-shot even further. These 2 together, they are enough. You can make a tanky item to avoid dying. You can do a lot of things, you know. These 2 together, they are enough. Do not need more. You can make Shiny Charm, but it's not too good, just in case. But I wouldn't go for this one. I would do something else. Maybe you can go for the cleanse tag in AOE. Maybe you can go for the Gradia. Put this on a support. I don't know. Aqua Egg and choice specs on any AP carry, they are enough. So if you cannot afford an Aqua Egg, then it is choice specs plus X-rays plus mana scarf. This generates you enough mana, and this boosts the damage of the ability that you cast because you have mana. Okay? So 2 pairs of glasses with 1 headband, and that goes for big carries doing boom boom. Finally, the support stuff. Lucky Egg plus Cleanse Stack plus Gradia. You put this between 2 carries, and these 2 carries will actually benefit for 6 items instead of only 3. Okay? To be done together. That cover. Okay, and Wonder Box on anything. On anything that only has 1 item, okay? If your unit already has 2 items, do not make a Wonder Box third because it will waste some of its potential. But Wonder Box as a standalone or with only 1 more item on anything. Anything can build a Wonder Box. If you do not know what to do, do a Wonder Box. It's always good. Okay? Remember, if you lost 2 items with 2 of the same components, always make a good items if they are not miracle seeds. If you combine 2 of the same component, this will always do a good item. If you are lost, right? Just 2 of the same together. That will do good. Every single fucking time. That will do good. So now, what's this? Do not worry about this. This is for specific units. Garbodor will actually give you trash when you use his ability. Go look at what Garbodor does. Meteorite actually just makes you change Deoxys form. So you will get it when you have Deoxys, and you take it to Deoxys, it will change the form, and then if you want to change the form, you take this to Deoxys again, right? It's just to change Deoxys' form. Don't fucking care. Berry Juice, it's for, do not even remember the name of this fucking thing. Where is it? Here. This is for this guy, Shuckle. Turn consume berries into berry juice. Like, this is just for Shuckle if you happen to play Shuckle in grass, which nobody does. So yeah, it's a thing, but do not need to even know it exists. This is Comfy. This is a Pokemon. Comfy actually equips itself to another unit. Super niche, don't care. If you play Artificial, Artificial by design actually gives you artificial items. So 1 of them for each level of Artificial, and it is random. So let's quickly cover them. Metal Coat plus 5 defense gives you Steel Synergy. Because Steel combines so well with Artificial, this is the best Artificial item you could get. If you enter Artificial 2 just to see which item it gives and you get a Metal Coat, just go all Artificial and play Artificial Steel. It will be good. It will be extremely good. Then you have Swiftwing. Gives you flying, 10% chance to dodge attack. This is fucking garbage. Super useless. Incense. Floral Synergy. 15% chance to make charmed for 2 seconds. Fucking garbage. Even worse than Swiftwing. If you see this as the first artificial item, dodge. Change composition. Fucking garbage. Hearthstone. 100 shield. Give rock synergy. What do we say against shield? Fucking sucks. Okay, so outside of Artificial 2 in a rock comp, avoid. Light Ball, 75 AP, Light Synergy. This one is actually super strong. So you get these 2. Holy mama, holy moly. You're good to go. Big Nugget, Ground Synergy. There are actually several ground artificial units. So this one helps you big time. If you survive enough, that's +3 money. Pretty decent stats. It's a good one. If you get the additional artificial units, that is. You know. Metronome gives you sound every second the order against 5 PP. Decent. Very decent. Not too bad. Maybe you can enter Sound 2, but Sound 2 does nothing. But as a standalone gives you mana generation, not too bad. Macho Brace gives fighting synergy, minus 15 attack speed, plus 15 attack. Fucking useless. Piece of trash. Garbage. D3. Holy moly, avoid them. If you see them, just fucking dodge. XP share. Take your two neighbors. You take their best defense, special defense, and attack values. What does this mean? You can have a super weak unit with no other item on them. And you give them XP share. You make it between a big tank and a big carry. And you will have the boss of the two sides. It's extremely strong. To me, it's the most OP artificial item. This one is absolute banger. Bonkers. Destroys everything. It's insanely good. Toxic Orb. This is Flame Orb but with poison. What does poison do? It doesn't reduce healing. So it's even better than Flame Orb. So refer to Flame Orb for this one. Magmarizer increases attack and inflicts burn. Look at this. This is fire. This is fire 4 with 100% burn chance. Does not give the fire synergy, be careful. But you benefit from fire 4 on any unit. Super good. Electrizer. Every attack received inflicts paralyze for 2 seconds to both the attacker and the holder. So look at this. You get 50% attack speed. And then each time you attack, you get 40% less attack speed. What is this shit? I do not understand how, but this item actually wins games. I do not know how. This is the worst design of an item I have ever seen. You get a stat, and then the first to attack denies you the stat. Sorry. At least make it give a leg, I don't know. Holy fuck. Yeah, I hate this. But I think maybe with a fluffy tail it is okay. With a fluffy tail it is X-rays that paralyzes. Okay? So, with a fluffy tail, this is X-rays but better. Without a fluffy tail... Alright? Fuck the berries. Go to my grass guide. Okay, and that covers it. That covers it. So, basics. Combine statistics to make them multiply. Attack speed with AD. Resistances with shield. Crits go together. AP with mana. Think about things that multiply instead of things that add. And then you are good to go. Look at what your synergy does and look out for items that multiply with these stats. As easy as this. You're good to go with just that. You need nothing more. I've went into the details. But if you forget the details, stick to the basics. And every conclusion that I made myself, you can actually do for yourself. Right? You don't need me. Go with the flow. Something that I didn't mention, maybe. You want to make your items for one single unit, because every item that you give to a unit actually reinforces the unit and the other items. This is the reason why you want your items on the same unit. Okay, because items will actually reinforce each other. And that is a pretty big aspect. But that is a part of the fact that statistics multiply with each other. This is also the reason why you want to combine several items on the same unit. With the exception of Econ and Shiny Charm that are standalone. The other item, combine them, always. And I would also add a unit that that gets a synergy stone actually only has a spot for 2 more items, which means that you better build your items on a carry that do not hold a stone. Okay? The stone not only boosts the unit that holds it, but every other unit that shares the synergy. So better build a carry with another unit of the same synergy rather than the stone holder, because you can make 3 items and not only 2. On the holder of the firestone or the glyphstone or on the stone holder, just put a wonder box. Just put a wonder box, and that will do good. Or if you do not put a wonder box, just put a shiny charm. I hope you enjoy the content. Once again, I'm sorry I've been absent. I will most likely come back early next week. I hope you are learning things with me, you do not forget me, and I will see you soon, because now I have to go like in 5 minutes. As I said, I do not have much time today. So this was Jean-Michel True, and I will see you next time.